Monday, May 14th. Welcome to our coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including an update on a Darien coach's arrest and a crash in Fairfield this morning. Frank Granito has your forecast and later on your Nutmeg Sports update, and Donald Eng will join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, local volunteer firefighters are mourning the death of one of their own. 22-year-old Austin Boni, a Stratford resident who volunteered with the Shelton and Trumbull fire departments, died at Bridgeport Hospital as the result of injuries sustained in a single vehicle wreck. That according to the Fairfield Police Department. Now, that accident occurred at about 1:40 in the morning on Saturday. Boni was driving a 2005 Nissan Altima East on Kings Highway when he lost control of the vehicle at Chestnut Street. The vehicle reportedly slid across the eastbound lane before striking a utility pole off the right side of the road. Police said that crash is still under investigation. And in other Fairfield news, around 9:15 this morning, Fairfield police reported that Mill Plain Road between Maple Road and Pell Meadow Drive was closed due to a motor vehicle collision with wires involved. They shared a photo from the scene. Now, police were asking all drivers to use an alternate route and said that area of Mill Plain Road will be closed for at least 2 hours while utility workers make the power lines safe. We'll keep you updated on that story. And the Darien High School freshman lacrosse coach, who was arrested Thursday by Waterbury police in Darien, has been relieved of his duties. That according to longtime high school lacrosse coach, Jeff Braymeyer. Now, the school district also confirmed his statement. Now, Raul Bourgo, his attorney, Mark Sherman, said that the coach had been placed on administrative leave. He also said that Bourgo plans to plead not guilty to narcotics charges at his upcoming arraignment. Now, Sherman also disputed the comment from the district, saying his client had resigned his position earlier Saturday. Sherman said his client was put on leave but had not received any notice of termination. Now, Bourgo resigned because he felt it was in the best interest of the team and his rehabilitation efforts, according to his attorney. Sherman said of his client, he is grateful for the friendships, inspiration, and opportunities that the job provided. Now, Bourgo was taken into police custody at Darien High School last Thursday. More on that story at DarienTimes.com. And Hearst, Connecticut media reports today that an off-duty Connecticut state trooper who was killed in a Wolcott head-on crash was intoxicated and speeding at the time. Now, a report reveals that Trooper Danielle Miller, who was 27 years old, had a blood alcohol content at the time of the crash that was .24, which is 3 times the legal limit. Now, the report from the Naugatuck Valley Accident Reconstruction Team said that Miller's cruiser and a 2004 Ford pickup collided head-on Route 69 around 9 at night on Saturday, February 3rd. Now, both drivers were taken to local hospitals for injuries sustained in that crash, police said. Miller later died at the hospital. Now, the driver of the pickup truck sustained non-life-threatening injuries and was treated and released from the hospital. Now, Miller, who graduated from the Connecticut State Police Academy in 2014, was assigned to Troop L in Litchfield. And in other news, a woman faces a second-degree larceny charge after failing to pay for a cosmetic procedure in Westport. Now, Westport police report that on December 27, 2017, Sue Stebbing had a procedure performed at Westport's Medi-Spa. Now, the cost of that procedure was over $12,000. Now, Stebbing told the complainants that she would be coming into some money from a business transaction and would pay them later. Well, after months of attempting to receive payment from Stebbing, that bill went unpaid. The investigating officer submitted an arrest warrant for Stebbing, which was later granted. Now, on May 8th, Stebbing turned herself in on that active arrest warrant. She was released after posting a $20,000 court-set bond. She will appear in court on May 21st. And Danbury Mayor Mark Boughton emerged as the state Republican nominee for governor at the convention on Saturday, but he faces some competition in August. Now, Boughton won the convention endorsement, but former First Selectman Tim Herbst of Trumbull and Steve Upsitnik of Westport are guaranteed a spot on the primary ballot by winning at least 15% of the vote on one or more ballots at that convention. Now, Herbst told our own Trumbull Times that he was confident that he was well positioned to win that August primary. Now, the Connecticut Mirror reports this morning that Shelton Mayor Mark Loretti, who fell short of qualifying for a primary, said Sunday that he'll begin a petition drive today to get on what could be a very crowded GOP ballot in August. Now, the Mirror also reports that David Stemmerman and Bob Stefanowski, two wealthy businessmen who are largely self-funding their campaigns, bypassed the convention and have been collecting signatures since May 2nd, which was the first day allowed under state election law. Now, Mike Handler, one of the 8 candidates who competed at the convention, also has taken out petitions. Handler finished last on the first ballot with 4.06%. All right, taking a turn now, we're going to throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at your forecast. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. Mostly cloudy skies expected around Fairfield County today. We'll see temperatures right around 70 degrees. Could see a little bit of sunshine in the late afternoon before considerable cloudiness starting in the early evening, carrying into Tuesday morning. Warmer out tomorrow, temperatures in the mid to high 70s, considerable cloudiness with possible showers or passing thunderstorms in the late afternoon. Mild overnight with temperatures right around 60 as the low, and more showers and thunderstorms expected all the way into Wednesday. Rain in the early half of the day should clear out around 1 or 2 o'clock. Temperatures in the low 60s and a low cloud cover on Wednesday night before skies look like they will start to clear up on Thursday. That'll do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to step out for a break. Come back. Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. We have more local news and your Nutmeg Sports update after this.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during Ram Truck Month, get up to $14,000 off on all in-stock 2017 Ram 1500 pickups. Come in and see us for details. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Ortho Connecticut Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Ortho Connecticut Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 4 locations: Norwalk, Darien, Westport, and Danbury. Go to myorthoct.com, like them on Facebook.
Create your dream home at Laurel Ridge. 3 bedrooms, 2-car garages, finished basements, wooded and lake views, recreation facilities galore. Stay connected to your local lifestyle with the convenience of being just minutes away from Fairfield County. Luxury townhomes that are smart, elegant, custom, and maintenance-free.
At Pamby Motors, we're not...
Welcome back to this May 14th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, we're going to stick mostly in the eastern United States for this history segment, starting in 1607 with the settling of Jamestown as an English colony in Virginia. It's the first permanent European settlement in North America and really the birth of the British Empire. The colony, though, struggled from the start with nearly 90% of the settlers dying of malaria or starvation in the first couple of years. Many of them were high-born and considered agriculture beneath them. By 1609, the Virginia Company sent 8 German and Polish laborers to assist the colony, but within months, they had defected to the native Powhatan people, who apparently treated them better. By 1699, the meeting house burned down for the second time, the colonial capital relocated to Williamsburg, and Jamestown was deserted by the mid-1700s. Speaking of the mid-1700s, now we stay with the Virginia folks. Delegates begin arriving in 1787 for the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. They began arriving to write a new constitution, and it was mostly the Virginia delegation that had arrived there. They then elected George Washington as president. The convention didn't actually have a quorum until May 25th due to the difficulties of travel and communication, and while they were waiting for the other states to arrive, James Madison developed what came to be known as the Virginia Plan for a National Assembly, consisting of 2 houses with representation allocated by population. 1878 now, a little bit farther north in Salem, Massachusetts, resident Lucretia Brown accuses Daniel Spofford of attempting to harm her through his mental powers. Now, because of the content and location, the case has gone into history as the last witch trial in American history. The court dismissed the case, citing a lack of evidence and also serious doubts over how exactly the court was supposed to stop such mental attacks, even if they were true. Finally, now we go to 1948, 70 years ago, for this.
ממש של אומה שוות זכויות בתוך העמים. בוקר זכותנו הטבעית וההיסטורית ועל יסוד החלטת עצרת האומות המאוחדות אנו מכריזים בזאת על הקמת מדינה יהודית בארץ ישראל.
That was David Ben-Gurion there declaring Israel an independent state on this date in 1948. The neighboring Arab states immediately launched attacks to reverse the proclamation, triggering the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Depending on how you count, at least 7 more Arab-Israeli wars have followed. Between Jews expelled from the surrounding countries and relocating to Israel, and Palestinians that fled or were expelled from what then became Israel, the war created more than 1 million refugees, many of whom remain displaced to this day. That is your look back in history for today, May 14th, and I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Milford police arrested a Bridgeport man and charged him with assaulting a juvenile and stealing his bicycle. Now, police said that that incident took place at the intersection of Bridgeport Avenue and the Boston Post Road on May 10th. 19-year-old Christian Perez of Cowell Street in Bridgeport punched a juvenile in the stomach and then took his bike, according to police. Now, Perez was charged with robbery and risk of injury to a minor, as well as breach of peace and assault and larceny. Now, that bicycle was later located in Bridgeport and returned to that juvenile. Bond for Perez was set at $1,000, and he's scheduled to appear in court on June 5th. And in Ridgefield, a Main Street woman was arrested and charged with larceny in the 6th degree at the Verizon store. Now, this happened on Monday, May 7th around 4 in the afternoon. Ridgefield police say that 31-year-old Olivia Romero was caught on surveillance video putting items into a bag and then leaving the store without paying. Well, according to a report, police responded to the shoplifting complaint from a store employee. Police interviewed Romero and issued her a misdemeanor summons. She was released on the scene after a promise to appear in court on May 24th. And Governor Daniel Malloy signed into law on May 10th legislation that's dear to Wilton State Senator Tony Boucher that adds Holocaust and genocide education and awareness to the required courses of study for public schools in Connecticut. Now, Boucher lobbied hard for what was known as the Holocaust Education Bill. While following overwhelming passage by the State House of Representatives, she told our own Wilton Bulletin that, quote, "When Rabbi Philip Laskowski came up to the Senate to tell me the good news, he was so full of emotion. She said we wrapped our arms around one another with tears in our eyes, thinking about those victims of the most horrific chapter in human history." Now, she said she hopes that this legislation can serve as a model for other states and spread throughout our country. She also said she truly believes that education is the key to ending anti-Semitism and racism. More on that story at wiltonbulletin.com. And in Stratford, cutting down on busing to send more kids to neighborhood schools and demagnetizing Stratford Academy will be on the agenda tonight for the Board of Education. Now, the school board is set to host a special meeting at 7 Monday to review a pair of resolutions. Now, that meeting will be held at Stratford High School. The first vote will decide if Stratford Academy, the town's magnet school campus, should revert to a neighborhood school. Now, the second will determine if the district should scale back on busing and having elementary school students return to their neighborhood schools. Now, Board of Education officials are proposing the busing changes to save on transportation costs. Dozens of parents have voiced their opposition to those proposed changes, fearing their children will be adversely affected by a change in schools. You can follow updates on that story at stratfordstar.com. And in other news, the clock is ticking for Weston parents and students who want to continue the tradition of holding the senior graduation ceremony outside under a tent. Now, for many years, a large tent has been set up on the field outside of Weston High School to hold the senior commencement ceremonies. However, due to budgetary constraints this year, $20,000 to fund that graduation tent was cut from the education budget. Now, Weston School Superintendent William McCursey announced that the ceremony would be held in the high school gym and graduates would be limited to 6 tickets apiece for guests. Well, after a meeting with parents on Friday, May 18th, Weston High School Principal Lisa DeOrio announced that Dr. McCursey had reconsidered the decision and would allow for a graduation tent and outdoor ceremony if $21,000 to cover the costs was paid for by private donations. But there isn't much time. Now, the community has been given a deadline of this Thursday, May 17th, to submit a single certified bank check to the superintendent's office in the amount of $21,500 to cover the outdoor ceremony, or graduation will be held in the gym. Parents are now racing to collect those donations, and a GoFundMe page has been set up online. You can find a link to it at aspetuck.news. All right, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
All right, Kate, it's Monday morning, so we have Athlete of the Week winners, week number 5 in the spring season, and we want to offer congratulations to Hayden Gorley of the St. Joseph baseball team and to Elizabeth Croxford from Danbury's softball squad. Gorley, the winner, just edging out Sean Knight of New Canaan track and field. Quinn McDonald from Richfield baseball not far behind. Croxford, a runaway, getting the majority of the votes for the ladies as she defeats Kylie Holderreed, who is her closest competitor, over 100 votes behind her. So congrats again to Gorley and Croxford. We will have your Week 6 nominees on Nutmeg Sports this afternoon at 2 o'clock. We're also going to be breaking down the FCIAC playoff races as we head in to the final week of the regular season. Still so many playoff spots up for grabs and a lot of meaningful games going on in the next few days. But let's look back at a couple from this past weekend. Trumbull keeping their hopes alive with a 5-1 win over Trinity Catholic in baseball. Ludlow defeats crosstown rival in both baseball and softball. 6-1 the Falcons win over Ward in baseball. 5-4 they outlast the Mustangs in softball. 7-1 Ridgefield continues to roll. They're the first baseball team to clinch a playoff spot with a win over Norwalk. West Hill defeats Darien, and the Vikings are still in the playoff mix now. 4-3 John McDonald the win in that game, going 6 2/3 innings. And St. Joe's now just a half game away from clinching their playoff spot after defeating the New Canaan Rams 8-1. A long road ahead of the Rams now, who are going to need a lot of help if they'll crack the top 8 before the season ends on Thursday. Kevin and I will break all this down at 2 o'clock, though, on Nutmeg Sports. We'll see you there. Athlete of the Week voting will open up at 3 p.m. this afternoon. For now, we go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break, come back, and recap some of the top stories we're following today after this.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Want to free up backyard space, or are you just sick of looking at your deteriorating pool? Call Gorilla Pool Removal today, the in-ground pool fill-in experts. Pay a fraction of the cost in pool remodel by filling it in with our experienced crew. Available 7 days a week by call or text. Find out more at grillopoolremoval.com.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. Local volunteer firefighters are mourning the death of one of their own. 22-year-old Austin Buoni, a Stratford resident who volunteered with the Shelton and Trumbull fire departments, died at Bridgeport Hospital as the result of injuries sustained in a single vehicle wreck. That according to Fairfield Police. Now, that accident occurred at about 1:40 in the morning on Saturday. Buoni was driving a 2005 Nissan Altima East on Kings Highway when he lost control of the vehicle at Chestnut Street. That vehicle reportedly slid across the eastbound lane before striking a utility pole off of the right side of the road. Police said that crash is still under investigation. And in other Fairfield news, around 9:15 this morning, Fairfield Police reported that Mill Plain Road between Maple Road and Palmetto Drive was closed due to a motor vehicle collision with wires involved. They shared a photo from the scene of that accident. Now, police have been asking all drivers to use an alternate route and said that area of road will be closed for at least 2 hours while utility workers make those power lines safe. No word yet on any injuries in that crash. And in an update on a story we brought you Friday, the Darien High School freshman lacrosse coach, who was arrested Thursday by Waterbury Police in Darien, has been relieved of his duties. That according to longtime school lacrosse coach Jeff Braymeyer. Now, the school district also confirmed his statement. Now, Paul Bourgault's attorney, Mark Sherman, said that the coach had been placed on administrative leave. He also said Bourgault plans to plead not guilty to narcotics charges at his arraignment. Now, Sherman also disputed the comment from the district, saying his client had resigned his position earlier Saturday. Sherman said his client was put on leave but had not received any notice of termination. Now, Bourgault resigned because he felt it was in the best interest of the team and his rehabilitation efforts, according to Sherman. Now, Sherman also said of his client he is grateful for the friendships, inspiration, and opportunities that the job provided. Bourgault was taken into police custody at Darien High School last Thursday. You can get more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And Hearst, Connecticut media reports that an off-duty Connecticut state trooper who was killed in a Wolcott head-on crash was intoxicated and speeding at the time. A report reveals that Trooper Danielle Miller, 27 years old, had a blood alcohol content at the time of the crash of 0.24, which is 3 times the legal limit. Well, the report from the Naugatuck Valley Accident Reconstruction Team said that Miller's cruiser and a 2004 Ford pickup collided head-on on Route 69 at about 9 at night on Saturday, February 3rd. Now, both drivers were taken to local hospitals for injuries sustained in that crash. Miller later died at the hospital. Now, the driver of the pickup truck sustained non-life-threatening injuries and was treated and released from the hospital. Now, Miller, who graduated from the Connecticut State Police Academy in 2014, had been assigned to Troop L in Litchfield. And in other news, a woman faces a second-degree larceny charge after allegedly failing to pay for a cosmetic procedure in Westport. Now, Westport police report that on December 27, 2017, Sue Stebbing had a procedure performed at the Westport Medi Spa. Now, the cost of that procedure was over $12,000. Stebbing told the complainants that she would be coming into some money from a business transaction and would pay them later. Well, after months of attempting to receive payment from Stebbing, that bill went unpaid. The investigating officer submitted an arrest warrant for Stebbing, which was later granted. On May 8th, she turned herself in on that active arrest warrant. She was released after posting a $20,000 bond, and she'll appear in court on May 21st. All right, let's get one final look at your forecast now with Frank Granito. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. Again, we're looking at a couple cloudy days coming our way. Mostly cloudy through the first half of today, possibly some sunshine later on this afternoon with highs around 70 degrees. Considerable cloudiness overnight, maybe a passing shower in the early a.m. hours. On and off rain tomorrow afternoon, possibly some passing thunderstorms as well. A little warmer out with temperatures up around 80 degrees. It'll be mild overnight, a low of 60, and showers expected to continue on into Wednesday morning. Rain the first half of Wednesday, temperatures in the low 60s again, but we should see the showers clear out by the afternoon. Overcast overnight, and sunshine is expected the back half of the week starting on Thursday. We're back at 2 o'clock with Nutmeg Sports this afternoon. Get you caught up on all the playoff races in the FCAC and, of course, Athlete of the Week nominees for week number 6 of the spring season, Kate.
right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 with the latest local news and more. Have a great day.